My husband brushed off those late-night texts as nothing more than spam, but the moment his phone synced to our shared tablet, the entire conversation thread lit up the screen, pages of heart emojis and plans for weekends away that had nothing to do with me. I still remember the exact second my stomach dropped. It was a quiet Thursday evening, and I was curled up on the couch waiting for him to get home from work. My name is Lauren. I'm 32, a graphic designer living in Austin, Texas, where the summers feel endless and the live music never quite drowns out the quiet moments at home. Mark and I had been married for 6 years, together for 9. We met at a friend's backyard barbecue. He was the easygoing architect with the warm laugh who could sketch beautiful homes on a napkin, and I was the one who turned those sketches into digital reality for clients. We built a life that looked solid from the outside. A small house with a big porch, 2 rescue dogs, Friday nights at local venues, and talks about starting a family once his firm stabilized. But lately the warmth had started to fade in small, almost invisible ways. He'd come home later, blaming deadlines and client dinners. His phone stayed face down on the counter, something it never used to do. When we sat down to eat, he'd scroll through emails instead of asking about my day. I'd mention the baby conversation we kept postponing, and he'd smile politely, change the subject to weekend plans that somehow never included just the two of us. I told myself it was the pressure of his job. Architects don't get steady paychecks the way designers do. I picked up the slack, took on extra freelance work, kept the house running so he could focus. I didn't want to be the nagging wife. Then came the night everything unraveled. He was in the shower after a long day, and his phone, plugged in on the kitchen counter, started buzzing non-stop. I glanced over, habit more than suspicion, and saw notification after notification pop up from someone named J. Work. The previews were short. Can't wait for Saturday. Miss you already. A string of red hearts. My heart started racing. I knew I shouldn't, but when the tablet on the coffee table chimed with the same sync notification, I opened it. There it was. The full iMessage thread mirrored perfectly. Hundreds of messages stretching back 14 months. Inside jokes. Pet names. Photos of her in his passenger seat. Plans for hotel stays in San Antonio and Dallas. Trips he'd told me were solo site visits for upcoming projects. I sat frozen, reading until I couldn't breathe. This wasn't a fling. This was a whole second relationship. He walked in, towel drying his hair, saw my face and stopped. Lauren? What's wrong? I turned the tablet toward him. The screen glowed with a message she'd sent minutes ago. Shower thinking of you yet? Winking face. He went white. That's it, spam. Some weird bot thing. I keep blocking the number. I scrolled up slowly, letting the months roll by. Spam that knows your favorite coffee order? Spam that calls you babe and sends pictures from your office. He sat down hard on the ottoman, rubbing his face. Okay. Someone from work. Jenna. Started as flirting, nothing serious. I was going to end it. I kept scrolling. Found the part where he told her he wasn't sure he ever wanted kids, something he'd never once said to me. Found the part where she asked if he was leaving me yet, and he replied, soon. Just need to figure out timing. 14 months, Mark. You've been lying for over a year. He looked at me then, and his expression wasn't panicked or remorseful. It was tired. Resigned. Lauren, I didn't know how to tell you this wasn't what I wanted anymore. You're safe. Comfortable. You fit the life I thought I was supposed to have. But being with her feels alive. Your feelings matter, but they don't change what I need. Safe. Comfortable. Like I was a piece of furniture he'd outgrown. The humiliation hit harder than the cheating itself. Knowing I'd been pouring love into someone who saw me as an obligation. I didn't cry. Not then. I just closed the tablet and said, I deserve more than being your backup plan. He tried to reach for my hand. I pulled away. Please don't make this dramatic. We can figure something out. No, I said, voice steady for the first time in months. We're done figuring. You figured enough without me. That night I slept in the guest room. The next morning I called a lawyer, changed the passwords on our shared accounts, and started packing his things into neat boxes on the porch. He came home from work to find them waiting. No screaming, no begging on either side. Just the quiet end of a life we'd pretended was still ours. The divorce was painfully civil. We sold the house, split what little equity we had, and went our separate ways. I kept the dogs. He moved into an apartment closer to his firm and I assume closer to her. For weeks I walked around feeling hollow, like someone had scooped out everything that made me recognizable to myself. I stopped designing for a while. Colors felt pointless. Then one morning I woke up angry, not at him, but at how long I'd ignored my own unease to keep the peace. That anger became fuel. I started running again, took on bigger clients, turned the second bedroom into a real studio instead of the future nursery. It had been collecting dust as I dated when I felt ready, slowly, carefully learning to trust my gut instead of silencing it. Mark and I haven't spoken in over a year. I heard through mutual friends that things with Jenna fizzled once the excitement of secrecy was gone. I don't feel triumph hearing that. I just feel free. Here's what I carry now. Never settle for being someone's safe choice. The moment you sense distance, address it. Don't fill the gaps for them. Your worth isn't measured by how long you can hold on to someone who's already let go. Healing isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet mornings where you realize you're no longer waiting for a text that will never come. It's choosing yourself first, not as revenge, but as the bare minimum you should have demanded all along. And one day when someone new looks at you like you're the life they want, not the one they're settling for, you'll know exactly what real feels like.